We're going to get a bit more analysis now from U.S. politics specialist Todd L, who joins me live from Washington. Todd, thank you for taking the time to speak to us.
Great to be with you again. Thank you.
So tell me, what are your thoughts now, having seen how New Hampshire played out? Does Nikki Haley still have a slim chance in some way?
That's exactly what I would call it. It's slim. There is a little glimmer of hope there. 11.5 points is a loss. It's not a huge loss. Obviously, Donald Trump would have liked to put this to rest last night. He talks as if he did, but he didn't. Of course, we have South Carolina, which is the next one where Nikki Haley is really going to contest. It's a month away. She has time to regroup. She has time to talk to her donors, but she needs to convince them that she can win in a state where, as your reporter said, she's behind by 30 points already.
Right. And for many people, I think, Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina, in some ways, the vote there might be a referendum on her and her time as governor.
Yeah, and I think she's depending on that. She's going to go back there, and I predict that she's going to go back there and mount a really strong ground game the way that she did in New Hampshire and get people out. She has the support of Americans for Prosperity, and they have a big network of volunteers. So I think they're going to go down there in force and try to win this from the ground up, while Donald Trump has his mega rallies and his ad buys and everything is going to try to win it from the top down. But it's going to be a real uphill battle, because even Tim Scott, the senator who was running against Donald Trump, has endorsed him, and she nominated him to the Senate. And so it's really, it's going to be difficult, because she was popular, but Donald Trump is more popular.
Indeed. And another big question, of course, is the money. I mean, does she have enough money to stay in?
Right now, no. I mean, she was going around saying that she's in this to win it and she's going to stay in. And she just made a $4 million ad buy in South Carolina. She didn't say 4 million. She said she made an ad buy. 4 million is not a lot, and it's going to be a drop in the bucket of what's going to be spent there. I anticipate it's going to be close to about 50 million is going to be spent there. She's going to need to raise a lot more money. She has time to do it, though, but turning around 30 points, again, really tough.
Indeed. All right, let's say that Nikki Haley soon drops out of the race. Donald Trump's the nominee running against Joe Biden. Is there any likelihood she could run as an independent?
You know, that is possible, but I just don't see her doing it. She is really, really tied to the Republican Party and really made that her brand. She represents sort of the traditional part of the Republican Party. If you look at the exit polls, a lot of the traditional Republicans, independents, and people who think the party has gone too far on issues like abortion and foreign policy are still with her. I think it's safer to say that she's got a lot of volunteers and did okay in both Iowa and New Hampshire. She's really laid the groundwork for 2028.
You're talking about these more moderate Republicans, and some people are saying that Joe Biden is actually probably happy if he ends up facing Trump again in November, because there's a chance those moderate Republicans might defect. Do you think they would vote Democrat?
That's exactly right. I think that there are a lot of Republicans. Look, 43% of the New Hampshireites voted for Nikki Haley. Now, of course, there was a lot of independents there that voted for him. But if you ask them why they voted for her, is because that she wasn't Trump. He doesn't have the right temperament, and he would be unfit for office. The Biden campaign is just salivating at the opportunity to run against Donald Trump. That makes it a choice election between the chaos of Trump's America and Biden's return to normalcy. Nikki Haley is sort of a wild card. They'd rather face Trump.
Right. So here we are looking at what looks to be a rematch of Trump and Biden. What could stop Trump now, if anything? Could it be the court cases?
His health. I think that's probably the only thing. He will be 78 this summer. We always talk about Biden's health because he doesn't wear it as well as Donald Trump does. Donald Trump much more energetic. I don't think that our Constitution allows you to run and serve, even if you have been convicted of a crime, but it's the type of crime, I think, that will really influence independent voters. In our GW Politics poll, we found that voters were not as concerned about the more civil trials, like the Stormy Daniels one, but when it came to the Georgia one, where you hear him on tape asking for more votes, that's the one that could really ding him with some of those moderate voters.
Indeed, and we'll be keeping a close eye on that, of course, here on France 24 as those trials happen. Just to wrap up, Todd, before you go, are there any other wild cards you think that could throw this whole thing off at this point?
I do. There's a group called No Labels that is trying to get a Democrat and a Republican to run together in what we call a unity ticket. They're trying to get on the ballot in a number of different states. These independent candidates usually don't win, but what they do is they take votes away from the two other candidates. And right now that looks like that would be more from Biden than Donald Trump.
Interesting. All right. Thanks for that, Todd. Todd Belt speaking to me there from Washington, D.C. Thanks so much.